You know what really gets under my skin? When people can't answer a simple yes or no question. And let me tell you, the case that walked into my courtroom that day had everything awkward advances, cold feet, and a whole lot of excuses. This is the story of Gabriel Garcia versus Miss Bellotti. And trust me, you're going to want to hear how this one played out. So there I am, sitting at my bench, looking at this young man, Gabriel Garcia, standing there like a deer in headlights. He's suing his would-be landlord, Miss Bellotti, for his security deposit and rent, $1,280. Not exactly pocket change, especially for a guy working for tips. Mr. Garcia, I say, your lawsuit seeks the return of your security deposit and rent from Miss Bellotti, from whom you were renting an apartment or a room. Tell me what happened. Now here's where it gets interesting. This wasn't some fancy apartment, this was a room. Just a room in Miss Bellotti's house. And where did our friend Gabriel find this golden opportunity? Where everyone finds everything these days, Craigslist. August 13th, that's when he saw the posting. The very next day, and I mean the very next day, he's already emailing her. They go back and forth, and boom, he's going to see the room. Did you like it? I ask him. I liked the room, yes, it was close to work, he tells me. Great, fantastic. So far, so good. But here's where young Gabriel starts to dance around my questions like he's auditioning for Dancing with the Stars. What was the agreed-upon rent, I ask. Simple question, right? She wanted $700 deposit. What was the agreed-upon rent? I cut him off. I don't have time for the scenic route. $700 deposit, $700 for the room. So $1,400 total. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. So he goes to see the room, he likes it, and here's where I need to nail this down. Did you agree to take it, I ask, and what does he do? He starts telling me she pressured him into giving her. Don't. I stop him right there. Did you agree to take it? The answer is yes, because you gave her money. You weren't giving her money as a gift. You gave her money to take the room. Yes, he finally admits. Thank you, Gabriel. Was that so hard? So on August 14th, this young man hands over $400, a check, just like that. The lease was supposed to start September 1st. No written agreement, just an oral deal and some cash changing hands. You know, the kind of arrangement that always ends well? Never seen that go sideways in my courtroom? Never. But wait, there's more. The following Monday, Gabriel comes back with more money, $880 in cash. He tells me it's the tips he made over the weekend. This guy's carrying around nearly $900 in tips, and he's about to hand it all to a woman he barely knows. Now here's where things get juicy. I turn to Miss Bellotti. After he gave you the $880, what did you do with the ad on Craigslist? I took the ad down, she says, the following day. I believe that would be the 18th. Perfect. So she takes down the ad. She's holding his money. The room is his. Everything's set for September 1st, right? Wrong. Miss Bellotti, in what I'm sure she thought was a generous gesture, tells Gabriel he can move in early, free. First, she offers him 2 weeks free, then backtracks to 1 week because she needs to get the previous tenant out and clean the room. The other girl had only stayed 9 days. 9 days. That should have been red flag number 1, but Gabriel's not picking up on it yet. So the plan is, Gabriel can move in around August 17th for free, and then his official lease starts September 1st. Sounds great, doesn't it? Except Gabriel's got something else on his mind, something that's making him very, very uncomfortable. She made me uncomfortable the day I saw her too, he suddenly blurts out. She was telling me that she dated men my age. First time I met her, dated men my age, 28, 29. Made me very uncomfortable, sent a red flag. Oh, here we go, I can see where this is heading. When I left that day after I gave her the check, she gave me a hug and a kiss on the cheek, Gabriel continues. That was kind of the screech of the tire, like, what's going on? Is she looking for a relationship? Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't care what's going on in Gabriel's head. I'm not a therapist, I'm a judge. But I understand what he's saying. This woman made him uncomfortable. She's talking about dating younger guys. She's hugging and kissing him on the cheek when they barely know each other, and he's getting vibes he doesn't like, fair enough. But here's what kills me about this whole thing. Here's what absolutely blows my mind. So the very next thing you did, I say to him, was send her another check for $880. It was cash, he corrects me. Fine, you gave her $880 in cash. This man is so uncomfortable, he's seeing red flags everywhere. He's worried she wants a relationship with him, and what does he do? He gives her almost $900 more. I swear sometimes the people who come into my courtroom make me want to pull my hair out. So now we're at the critical moment, the moment where everything falls apart. When did you tell her you no longer wanted to rent the room? I ask. The 25th of August, Gabriel says. August 25th. Let me paint you a picture here. He was supposed to move in around August 17th. His lease officially started September 1st, and on August 25th, Less than a week before his lease starts, possibly even after he could have already moved in, he tells her he's not coming. Under what theory do you think you can get your money back, I ask him, because I genuinely want to know what's going through this kid's head. He starts rambling about how they were supposed to meet to sign an agreement that day, how he told her he didn't feel comfortable, how his brother's wedding was coming up, a lot of stuff was going on. She said, sleep on it, let me know tomorrow, he tells me. I texted her saying I was going to stay. She puts on the text message that I have that she's giving me that $1,280 back and that she was going to look for other people. Now this is interesting. Oh, I'd like to see where she says to you she's going to give it back to you, I say, because otherwise this whole case is dead in the water. You see, here's what Gabriel doesn't seem to understand. Let me explain it in plain English, because apparently nobody else has. When you make an agreement with someone and you give them money and they take their ad down and hold the property for you, you can't just change your mind and expect all your money back. That's not how the world works. That's not how contracts work. That's not how anything works. Unless, and this is the big unless, the other person agrees to give you your money back. Unless she agreed to give you your money back, I tell him, you're not entitled to this money back. You had an agreement with her, and she took her ad down from Craigslist. She did not, he argues. Oh, Gabriel, sweet, naive Gabriel, even if she didn't, I explained, she couldn't rent the room because she had already taken your money. So she couldn't rent the room for September. And if she couldn't rent the room in September based upon your change of heart, she's not required to give you back your security and rent deposit. I watch his face as this sinks in. I understand, he says quietly, but then, and this is why I love my job, I realize I'm not being entirely accurate. Well, actually, I say that's not true. You should have seen his face light up. She is required to give you back your security because you didn't move into the apartment, so you couldn't have damaged the apartment in any way. And that's what the security is for. This is important, people. Pay attention. A security deposit is for damages, not for rent, not for inconvenience, not for hurt feelings. Damages. Gabriel never moved in. He never set foot in that room as a tenant. He couldn't have damaged anything. Therefore, Ms. Bilotti has absolutely no legal right to keep his security deposit. The rent? That's a different story. She lost a month's rent because of his change of heart. That's on him. So minimally, I tell Ms. Bilotti, you're responsible to give him back his security. Did you give him back his security? No, I didn't, she admits. Why not? And here's where Ms. Bilotti starts making excuses. Well, it's not exactly what happened, Judge Judy, she begins. Oh boy, here we go. I cut through her protests. Why didn't you give him back his security? Because he did not let me know he was not moving in 2 days prior. 2 days prior. She wants 2 days' notice for a place he never moved into, so she can keep his security deposit for damages that never happened. The logic is astounding. That doesn't matter, I tell her. Listen to me carefully, and then I break it down for her piece by piece, because apparently I need to. He could lose his rent for the month because you're out the rent, but then you have a whole other month, that whole month of September, to rent it for October. So you haven't lost anything. And the new tenant in October will give you a security deposit. But why you think you would be entitled to retain his security deposit is something that I'm missing. She starts talking about texts, about how she told Gabriel she'd try to rent it over the holiday so he could have all his money back. How it put her in a really tough position to get it rented because it was already September 2nd. Security deposit, I interrupt. I'm talking about security deposit. Why didn't you send him his security deposit? Because I didn't know until that day that he was not going to move in. Is she serious right now? Are you not following me? I ask her. What do you think security deposit is for? Security deposit is for damages, she starts, or a person that doesn't pay the rent. No, I correct her. Damages. That's what security deposit is for. Damages, not rent. He hadn't moved in, so he couldn't cause any damage. I explained to her about liquidated damages. Her damages, she lost a month's rent, but she didn't lose any security deposit. She didn't have any damage to repair. So why didn't you send him back his security deposit? She has nothing, no answer, no excuse, nothing that makes any legal sense. You have no reason, I tell her. Then Gabriel wants me to look at some text messages where supposedly she said she'd give him everything back. He's shuffling through papers looking for tab number 8 or something. This doesn't say that at all, I tell him after looking at it. It just says she might have a girl who wants the room and she'll keep him posted. It said there was 3 people coming and that she would give it back to me. He insists. No, I correct him. If she rented it. And that's the key word. If. Look, I understand Gabriel's position. The woman made him uncomfortable. She was talking about dating younger men, giving him hugs and kisses, and he got cold feet. I get it. But you know what? That's life. That's what happens when you make decisions as an adult. You deal with the consequences. He's entitled to his $700 security deposit back. Absolutely. No question. That money is for damages he never caused. But the $700 rent for September, that's gone. That's the price you pay when you back out of an agreement 5 days before you're supposed to move in. Actually, it wasn't even 5 days because Ms. Bilotti told him he could move in early, sometime the week of August 17th. So on August 25th, when he changed his mind, he could have already been living in the apartment. She was holding that apartment for him. She took down her ad. She turned away other potential tenants, all because he gave her money and made an agreement. You can't just walk away from that without consequences. You're absolutely entitled to your $700 back. I tell Gabriel, but not the $700 for rent for the month of September. And with that, I make my decision. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $700. That's all. You know what the real story is here? It's not about whether Ms. Bellotti was coming on to Gabriel. It's not about whether she made him uncomfortable. It's not even about Craigslist or finding rooms online. The real story is about responsibility. When you're an adult, when you make an agreement, you have to think it through before you hand over your money, not after. Gabriel had red flags from day one. The woman talking about dating younger guys, the hug and kiss on the cheek, and what did he do? He went home, thought about it, and then came back with $880 in cash. That's on him. And Ms. Bellotti? She thought she could keep a security deposit for damages that never happened. She thought inconvenience equals damages. She thought wrong. In my courtroom, we deal with facts. We deal with law. We don't deal with feelings, excuses, or what you wish had happened. Gabriel made a choice. He has to live with the consequences of that choice. But he also has rights. And one of those rights is to get back money that was meant to cover damages he never caused. $700. That's the judgment. That's fair. That's justice. And maybe, just maybe, both of these people learned something that day. Gabriel learned to trust his instincts from the start and not commit to something that makes him uncomfortable. And Ms. Bellotti learned that a security deposit isn't a consolation prize for when things don't work out the way you want. That's why I do what I do. Not to make people happy, not to make people feel good, but to teach them how the real world works. Because at the end of the day, we all have to live in the real world. And in the real world, there are rules, there are laws, there are consequences, and there's me sitting at that bench, making sure everyone understands exactly what those rules are. Case closed.